Forget to hit the pause, forget to turn it on, y quién sabe, who knows. Ok, vamos a empezar. Y muy buenas noches. Muy buenas noches. Espero que ustedes hayan tenido buenos días feriados. I hope you all had a good holiday week. I was telling Susanna, every single person all week long who came into class said, I have no idea what I did last week, last time we were in class, because that holiday week just gets so crazy busy. So I am going to show you a screen so that you know what you need to look up, either if you keep it as a screen or if you print it out. I would be like, where is that piece of paper? Sí, van a necesitar, you're going to need this thing here. And remember, this is the very tail end of the continuation of that parecer page. The parecer page, but we're going to be starting at the stop here. That's actually our starting point, because we're going to work a little bit of preocuparse, okay? That's our last kind of group in these verbs that are like gustar, right? We can use preocupar as a reflexive, preocuparse, or as a verb like gustar. Something me preocupa, something worries me. Okay, and we'll get into a little preview of that before I send you off into smaller groups to work that. What I will want to make sure that you do when you have this page handy is that when you have your things you talk about, that you worry about, react. Remember to react to your compañeros. Get a reaction. If it's a positive reaction, if it's a negative reaction, right? It might be many things. Yeah, aha, if you just want more information. When you respond, aha, to something somebody says, you are responding saying, oh, I acknowledge that. And, oh, go ahead, tell me more. Aha. Bien. If you are reacting negatively, I know, que mal, híjole, right? A surprised reaction might look like or sound like, en serio. En serio is like saying, really? A poco, or neta. Or a positive reaction, if it's a positive thing, is stuff like wow, which is their wow, W-O-W, right? Órale, que bien, que bueno, que chido. Chido is a pretty universal word in a lot of Latin countries for cool. Okay, oh, how cool, que chido. Hey, if you're, a celebration kind of thing. And, if you want to agree that give positive or negative agreement, there are other ideas down here at the bottom also. De acuerdo means I agree with you, right? Estoy de acuerdo means the same. It's just a different way of saying it. De acuerdo is a shorty form. Claro que sí, of course. Yo también. Yeah, I too. A mí también. If it's a verb like gustar, so if it's the non-reflexive, you may want that. Negative agreement, agreeing in a negative way. If somebody says, I don't like something or I don't do something, claro que no, or yo tampoco, or a mí tampoco. So eventually, when you go off to do the preocuparse, which we'll work our way up to, remember to react to your partners, be it positive, negative, surprise, lo que sea, whatever it may be. Okay. Bien. Vale, magnífico. I do hope, espero que hayan oído un poco, espero que hayan oído un poquito. I hope you have heard a little bit, listened a little bit to this language transfer podcast. The people from my various classes who have listened to it have had an overwhelmingly positive response to it. If you haven't tried it yet because you were too busy with the holidays, así es, so it is. But do give it a try sometime this week. Language transfer is nothing more than a podcast You won't see any video with it. Even if you click on the YouTube way to listen to it, there won't be any talking heads. But it is a very unique and different way to look at Spanish, no matter where you are in the journey with Spanish, whether you're really, really feeling like you have a hard time speaking even simple sentences, or even if you're quite advanced, the way it introduces each of the topics, and most of these topics in the early podcasts will be things you're familiar with. The way he explains it and the way he practices the speaking with the one student he has is extremely engaging. It works off of what you already know in English, dragging in what you already know, saying, let's change it to a Spanish pronunciation of a word you already know, and then showing by examples how these work. So it's a truly, a very carefully thought out. He sounds like he's just sort of riffing into nowhere with the student, but he really is not. It's super useful, no matter what level you're at, because you'll kind of think of things that you already know of in a different way. I guarantee that if you try it. So, okay. Vale. Also, quick reminder that we have sign up for January with Scottsdale classes. So that is ongoing, and that'll be ongoing for quite a long time. They usually carry that through right up to when classes start. Last term, I had somebody who started 1 hour before class started. Oh my gosh. That is scramble time for me to get the information to those folks. But do sign up, please, if you intend. Really, in all their classes will be open for that. Okay. Vamos a ver. Let's take a look. We're going to be practicing a little more of our verbs like gustar, and the focus tonight is going to be on preocupar, or verb like gustar, versus preocuparse, which is the same verb but with a se, which means it's reflexive. Okay, and that verb is exactly like alegrar and alegrarse. Alegrarse is to feel happy, the feeling that wells up within you. So preocuparse will mean I worry about, versus just preocupar, which will behave like gustar, and just preocupar with a me, te, le, les, nos in front of it. Just preocupar conjugates like gustar, either preocupa or preocupan, and the thing that worries you. So the difference between preocuparse and preocupar without the se is that preocupar says it, this one thing, worries me, or worries you, or worries somebody that you know, or these things, they worry me, okay? Whereas preocuparse means I feel this worry within myself, okay? But again, they conjugate a little bit differently, because preocupar will be either preocupa or preocupan, and preocuparse goes into all the different forms depending on who you're talking about. So those are going to be our focus. We're going to talk a little about our buenos modales, our good manners video. I did manage to get a new video with transcripts for next week, so we've got that in our back pocket. So those are our two biggie things for tonight, and of course any other questions you might have. Okay, a ver, vamos a empezar con, we're going to start with a little video to prompt a response. And this is going to be an easy level video that will be pretty simple to understand. And it will be again, I hope I have chosen the one that we have not yet done. Uy, a ver, un momentito. Problemas técnicos. Couple little technical problems here. A ver. Okay. Lo tengo. I've got it. Vamos a empezar. So we're going to begin with some listening, seeing if you can guess the responses. These are going to be verbs that'll work. Some of them, like our preocuparse, all of them might be words like our gustar type verbs. And then we'll hear a little video that uses yet a different ones that'll give you a little different perspective to show you how many different kind of verbs do this. And then we'll send you off for some individual practice. Okay. Pueden ver. Can everybody see these guys? Sí. Pueden ver. Bien. Okay. Magnífico. A ver. I wanted to make that bigger. I don't think I can. Okay. We're going to play this to see. Let me put a stop and I want to make sure I've got my audio on. Yeah, sí. Todos los botones. Okay. Vale. Otra vez. Escuchen, listen, and then look for what we're looking for. We've got a 50-50 shot, which is why we're doing this first, because it's a warm-up.
Qué bueno conocerte, Micaela. ¿Este restaurante?
Oh, he's asking, do you like?
Te gusta.
Te gusta, because it's one thing.
Sí. Los tacos aquí.
Ah,
Me gustan.
me gustan, porque tacos.
Trabajar aquí.
Oh, I love. Okay, so we're bumping it up from gustar to encantar, right? I love working here.
Me encanta.
Me encanta. And when you hear that, it's going to run together.
Los
Right.
precios también.
Oh, loves the prices too. Okay, so me encantan. ¿Por qué me encantan? Why me encantan with an N at the end? ¿Por qué me encantan?
This is plural. Precios. Plural.
Precios, plural. Remember, when you love doing something, an action, an activity, any activity, even if I have multiple activities, whether it's 1 or 5 activities that I love to do, activities go into the singular category. Okay, so me encanta for an activity, but here it's not an activity, it's precios. So me encantan, and when you hear it, it's me encantan. They pause a little bit more on this because they want to make sure you hear everything. But in real life, people will slide together the E from me and the E from encantan into this, me encantan. It will never sound like, even if you hear them say it on the video, me encantan. It'll never sound like that. It'll sound like it's all running together. Me encantan.
Me parece genial que Valentina nos pusiera en contacto.
Nos pusiera en contacto. Put us in touch, got us in touch. Oh, so this was a setup date. Oh, little blind date. Let's try her again.
Me parece genial que Valentina nos pusiera en contacto.
Parece genial.
Yeah.
Me parece genial. Me parece genial es, it seems great. Genial es great. Awesome. Super good. Genial. Okay. Le parece fatal would mean it seems lousy to him or to her. So, me parece genial.
Sí, a mí también me gusta mucho conocer gente nueva.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely a blind date setup. And a mí también, I find it hard. Would be which one? ¿Me cuesta or me gusta?
Me cuesta.
Me cuesta. What does me cuesta literally mean?
It costs me.
It costs me. But, the idea behind that would be like saying in English, I find it hard.
Find it
like
hard.
she says there. I find it difficult.
Mhm.
It's tough for me. Okay. It costs me. Me cuesta. Meeting new people.
¿Algo de beber?
Sí, una limonada, por favor.
Ah, okay. Would you like? Would it be te da miedo or te apetece?
Sí.
Te apetece.
Te apetece. Te apetece. Would it be appealing to you? Yeah. Te da miedo would mean it scares you. So yeah, if what we mean is that you like, and I know this is not gustar, but people use apetece as a substitute for gustar. Why? Porque to use a synonym to avoid being repetitive, using the same verb over and over. So te apetece algo. Would you like a little?
No sé
something?
nada de ti. ¿En qué trabajas?
Soy productora en una discográfica. Me apetece cambiar de trabajo a veces.
Mm.
I feel
Me apetece here means,
I feel like
Feel like
yeah, I feel like changing jobs sometimes. So, ooh, she's not like, yeah, she's not 100%.
Qué interesante. ¿No te gusta tu trabajo?
Oh, because she said, I'm not that crazy about work all the time. He asks,
Te.
no te gusta.
Te gusta.
Sí, pero las peleas internas.
Oh, peleas internas. Internas means internal. Peleas. I dislike the,
may apprehend.
yeah, the internal fights. So the backbiting, all the drama, yeah. Peleas internas means internal fighting. Okay, so if that is a bore to her, and if there are peleas, it should be
yeah.
May apprehend.
Burren.
te aburren.
Sí, te entiendo. Mundo de la canción.
Oh,
I'm
fascinated by the world of song.
Cena.
Me fascina. Yeah, I love the music world.
Cantar.
Ah, cantar.
Te gusta.
¿Te gusta cantar?
Sí, pero no te conviene escuchar mi voz.
Why are they laughing at that? Convenir using this way means it wouldn't be a good idea because they had it in a negative. Wouldn't be a good idea. Wouldn't be a good idea escuchar mi voz, to listen to my voice.
That's not what Ohio State would do or anything, but it's just.
No te conviene.
No te conviene. Wouldn't be a good idea for you to
¿Y a
listen
ti
to.
qué
Before I watched that,
hacer en tu tiempo
kind
libre?
of lengthy
Okay,
thing that I
and
sent
she
you the
asks,
first day with that Doug ski guy.
what do you like to do in your free time, right?
And he went on and on
Oh, we
about
got some,
Possible for somebody to.
chemistry.
can you hear the voice in the background?
Yeah, I'm hearing some.
Yeah.
voice.
This is not in my house, I know.
It's not in my house.
Everybody like,
Might be in Fred's head, but it's not in my house.
Mom's got the lights on. Oh, we gotta tiptoe around. Okay. Y a ti, ¿qué gusta hacer en tu tiempo?
Los museos y los eventos culturales. ¿Y a ti?
Ah,
Me gustan.
me gustan, plural. Claro.
Los conciertos.
Cantan.
¿Estás bien?
Me encantan.
Los conciertos.
Me encantan. And he's got,
Sí, lo siento. Un poco la espalda. Recientemente tuve 2 cirugías.
recently I've had 2 surgeries. There's a backstory to that. One of my other classes did a thing where he went through a very belabored process of getting a little internal thing operated on, and he fought it tooth and nail. Okay, lo siento. My back hurts me a little bit. La espalda, my back.
Me duele.
Me duele. Muy útil. Doler es un verbo que se usa siempre, siempre, siempre como gustar. We always use doler like gustar. Either duele, this body part hurts, or duelen, these body parts hurt. Why would it have to be plural? Quizás los ojos, quizás los hombros, quizás las rodillas, maybe your knees. Okay, so if a plural, a paired up body part hurts, it would be me duelen. But here, la espalda me duele un poco. It hurts a little.
Lo siento. Me repugnan los hospitales.
Oh,
A
what
mí
is,
también.
what does she say about hospitals?
Didn't like him.
I like them.
Doesn't like them. What word do we have in English that sounds like the me repugnan?
Repulsive.
Repugnant.
Repugnant, repulsive. Yeah. Okay, so something that es lo opuesto de gustar, ¿sí? I hate.
Que todo el mundo siempre esté estresado allí.
Oh, it makes me nervous that everybody, todo el mundo, means all the world, but we would say everybody, that everybody always is
Rest.
stressed out here. That is, wow, yeah, that in the service industry, that's the way it is right now. Okay, it makes me nervous.
Me pone.
Pone nervioso.
Me pone nervioso, me pone nervioso. We can use poner, and notice this poner is like preocupar versus preocuparse. This poner versus ponerse are very different meanings. Ponerse means to put on something on your body. Me pongo los lentes, ¿sí? Me pongo los audífonos aquí, to put something on oneself. But when something is put upon me, we would say in English, I get. I get. But literally it is, well, it could be translated as I get or as it makes me nervous. Me pone nervioso.
Me alegra oír que no soy la única.
I'm happy to hear I'm not the only one.
Me alegra.
¿La nueva librería que ha abierto en el barrio de Roma?
Roma. Roma es un barrio muy, muy, muy de moda. Roma is a very, very fashionable neighborhood in Mexico City. El barrio de Roma is a very posh, hoity-toity kind of district in Mexico City. Librería. Librería es
Bookstore.
bookstore. Anything that ends in eria is a store of some kind. Eria. And the first half of the word tells you what they sell in that place. Libreria, they sell books, a bookstore, not a library, okay? Because nothing for free there, okay? Oh, do you like the new bookstore?
Me gusta.
¿Te gusta?
No la conozco, pero las librerías.
No la conozco. I'm not familiar with it. So she's saying, I've never been there. Pero
Fascinante.
me fascinan. Yeah, I'm crazy about bookstores.
¿Explorar los nuevos libros en ellas?
Oh,
Te diverte.
¿te divierte? Do you enjoy?
Sí, y la idea de la mezcla entre librería y cafetería.
Okay. I'm attracted to the idea of mixing a bookstore with
Cafeteria.
cafeteria. So what would it be? This is un poquito más difícil. This is a little bit harder.
I think it's singular.
Yes, la
It's
idea.
similar. Sí,
Me da
muy
risa que
bien.
digas eso porque esta librería es también un café. ¿Quieres ir allí conmigo?
Risa, clase es esto. Risa. Es la risa.
Laugh, smile.
It makes me laugh. Me da risa que digas eso. Oh, it makes me laugh that you say that. Esta librería es también un café. This bookstore is also a café. ¿Qué quiere decir? You want to go there. So now he's getting to the date part.
Claro, ¿por qué no?
Buenísimo. Trabajar duro la próxima semana, pero ¿qué tal el fin de semana?
Yeah, that looked like a yes. Okay. Tocar. You know, tocar is something else.
Yeah, to take, to touch.
To touch something. Yeah. Also, tocar is
Oh, to play.
to play an instrument. Tocar has many meanings. Tocar also means to walk up to a door and do this.
Ah,
Tocar has many meanings. Tocar is this. Tocar a la puerta. Tocar a la puerta. Tienen que imaginar que es una puerta, ¿no? Sí, tocar a la puerta. También tocar un instrumento. Bien. También tocar como touch. ¿Sí? Ok, bien. But when we use it as we would use gustar, it means literally, it does mean literally, it touches me. Kind of like saying it's my turn. Or I am next in line to do this thing. So he's talking about a schedule, right? Taking her out. Trabajar duro, work hard, la próxima semana. So what he's saying is, it's my turn. I have to, I'm scheduled to, it's my turn to do this. And what he has to do is work hard. And he provides el fin de semana as an alternative, okay? Como alternativo, bien? So it is really not far-fetched. A lot of times, some of these exercises become kind of, a little bit engineered to see how many times can we fit in these verbs like gustar, but really this was not working very hard to fit it in. There are a lot of verbs that work like gustar. So that's a little touch. We're going to give you one other one, and I'm going to walk you through this one because this gentleman speaks a little bit faster. Not all of it will sound super fast, but some of it will, un poquito. A ver. And we're going to see yet a different verb that behaves like gustar. Actually, it won't be the one you see in the title, but he's going to keep using falta or hace falta. Hace falta means to be lacking something. But how often do you say in English, I am lacking this? No. What do you say instead? You say,
I need it.
I need something. Yeah. And this is a different way of expressing it, but it will sound a lot like gustar. So we'll let him run on with this. Oh, I think I need subtitles, but this is great because it's a great guy video.
Vamos a ver, voy a montar esta mesita.
Voy a montar. Montar usually means to ride, but what he's going to be doing, what do you think he's going to be doing if he's got a toolbox? He's talking about mesita, a little table.
take something apart.
He's going to be putting it together.
Oh, putting something together.
Yeah. So montar usually is montar a caballo, ride a horse, montar en bicicleta, ride a bike, but montar can also mean to set up. So le hace falta una caja de herramientas. He needs a toolbox. Okay. So I'll kind of walk you through parts of this. We may not play the whole thing, but I want you to see how these verbs like gustar pop up over and over and over again with different verbs you don't expect.
A ver qué tal, pero antes necesito algunas herramientas.
And here, instead of hace falta, he used straight out necesito, I need. Algunas herramientas, I need some tools.
En concreto, un destornillador.
Destornillador. No es destornillador. This is not a destornillador. Eso no.
Martillo, no.
Martillo, hammer. Notice what he says. No me hace falta un martillo. I don't
Need.
need a hammer. I don't have any need for a hammer. Okay. I don't need a hammer. No me hace falta. And the thing he doesn't need is a hammer, un martillo. Es una cosa. So we treat this like a verb like gustar. This is a very, very common verb to use to say that you are missing something that you need to work with. Okay.
No me hace falta un martillo. Alicates.
Alicates, that's the name for that tool.
Tampoco me hacen falta.
And alicates is plural, so tampoco me hacen falta. I don't need them
Either.
either. It's a negative agreement. Oh, don't need these either. But it's plural because alicates, plural. Tampoco me hacen falta.
Una linterna.
Una linterna. Es una
Work light?
luz.
Oh, work light.
Puede que me haga falta.
Look,
Headlight.
headlight, yeah.
Bueno, quién sabe.
¿Quién sabe? Who knows?
Una llave inglesa.
Llave inglesa. I had no idea that they used this term for this tool. Llave inglesa would mean literally an English key. Wow, look at that wrench. And look what he says. He's saying, don't need this either. Tampoco me hace falta. Tampoco me hace falta. I don't need it either.
Tampoco me hace falta una llave inglesa. Brocas. Un 3 en 1. Hacía tiempo que no veía un 3 en 1. Necesito un destornillador, porque para montar esta mesa me hace falta un destornillador.
He needs destornillador. Destornillador.
I don't know.
Screwdriver.
Screwdriver?
Screwdriver. Sometimes there's a saying, I don't know if they use this anymore. They used to use this. Le hace falta un tornillo. He's missing a screw. You know how people used to say he's missing a screw? Somebody's a little, not quite all there. Yeah. So destornilla is something it takes the, screwdriver.
Hola hispanófilos e hispanófilas y bienvenidos una vez más a Spanish with Vicente. Me llamo Vicente y soy profesor de español.
We'll skip some of this and get cut to the chase.
Aún mejorándolos. Bueno, muchas gracias, Evita. Estos verbos. Bien, pues Evita se hace un lío con estos dos verbos, con prestar y pedir prestado. Tengo que decir una cosa.
He's not using hace falta, but he uses hace falta all through a lot of the videos. So he's using words that talk about lending things. And I know guys often feel a certain way about lending out their stuff, their tools. This, my husband feels that way. Sí, así es como... Es así con mi esposo, with my husband, he feels that
Este
way.
email, y es que Evita está admitido escribir
And you don't, okay, he gets a little off topic. Okay, a ver, un momentito. We're going to cut to the
una
chase.
mesa, una mesita para el cuarto y me falta una herramienta. Bueno,
Me falta una herramienta. I'm missing a tool. So he's going to talk about, and notice he says, me hace falta una herramienta, and then he switches to plural. Let's see why.
me faltan varias, pero en
Me faltan varias. Bueno is like, oh, well, now that I'm thinking of it, I'm not just missing one tool, I'm missing
Several.
several. Varias es several. Okay. Varias refers to herramientas. So let's back that up just a little bit so you can see how. Me falta una herramienta. I'm lacking, I'm missing, I need. Yeah, and you could say necesito, but a lot of people choose to say it this way instead. Me falta or me hace falta. Either way, me falta or me hace falta. They both mean the same thing. Una herramienta. I'm missing a tool. I'm lacking a tool. I need a tool.
Falta una herramienta. Bueno, me faltan varias, pero en
I'm really missing a lot of them. I need a lot of them. Varias, several. Pero en concreto, but
concreto me falta una herramienta que no tengo y necesito que alguien me deje prestada esta herramienta.
so what is he saying? I need somebody to what do people do when they haven't got something? Call up their friend and ask.
Lend it to him?
Lend. Prestar that you see up here is to lend. Now that verb will not be like gustar. That'll be like a regular verb. He needs somebody to loan or lend him a tool.
Yo normalmente suelo tener de todo y cuando me falta algo,
Cuando me falta algo, when I need something, when I'm lacking something.
pues se lo pido prestado a mi padre. Mi padre es una persona que siempre me presta todo.
My dad always loans these to me.
Me prestó este martillo hace ya 2 años.
He loaned this to me how long ago? Hace 2 años. He loaned it 2 years ago. Yeah, and you know, that's why people don't like to lend their tools, because it never comes back.
Qué inocente. Cuando alguien te presta algo, tienes que devolvérselo. No
When somebody loans you something, you have to return it.
hagáis como yo con este martillo.
Don't do like I did with this hammer, martillo.
Este martillo me lo prestó mi padre hace ya un par de años, cuando me mudé a la otra casa en la que vivía con mi
Este martillo me lo prestó. And he's talking about in the past. This hammer, and he's talking about what his dad did.
Lent him.
He loaned it to me. Martillo becomes this lo. Me lo prestó. He loaned it to me. Hace un par de años.
What does that mean? Car.
Un par. A pair. A pair of years. So a couple. A couple of years ago. Yeah, hace un par de años. A couple years ago.
mi amigo, y me lo prestó, porque yo no tenía, y en ese momento pues no quería comprarlo, y le dije, oye, ¿me dejas el martillo un par de días para montar un par de muebles en la casa? Y él me
Yeah,
dijo,
will you loan this to me for a couple of days? Un par de días. Un par. A pair of days. A couple of days.
claro que sí, yo te lo presto. Y yo dije, vale. Bueno, pues él me lo prestó y bueno,
He loaned it to me.
sinceramente me lo he quedado. Ya es mío, este martillo ya es mío, ya me pertenece. Cuando alguien te deja algo prestado, no debes quedártelo.
When somebody lets you borrow. Actually, there's not a word specifically for borrow. They use prestar, to lend. Okay. When somebody lets you borrow something, you shouldn't just keep it back. No debes quedártelo. You shouldn't just keep it for yourself. Hay que devolverlo. Hay que, meaning one must. Hay que devolverlo.
Return it.
Have to return it. Okay.
¿Vale? Hay que devolverlo. Hay que devolverlo. Se lo tienes que devolver a esta persona. Pero bueno, yo me lo quedé porque es mi padre, él me
Yeah, but I kept it because it's my dad's.
quiere mucho y yo quiero mucho a este martillo. Pero bueno, otras veces son mis amigos los que me piden a mí que les preste herramientas. Y yo, sinceramente, no presto herramientas.
I don't loan out my tools because other people do what I did with Dad's hammer. Así es. Okay. So I'm going to stop it just there because I wanted you to hear the part not so much about prestar, but the part about hace falta. Hace falta. Me falta, I need something, I lack something, or me faltan, I need some things, plural. So you see that there are just tons and tons of these verbs that behave like gustar. It's not just the ones I gave you on the list, it's all kinds of verbs all the time. Okay, so let's go back to our old prompt page. You should have that, either pull it up on the screen or get it ready, printed out. Actually, I will try to send this out into the practice rooms. I should be able to do that. I want you to work on these. Actually, it's just a couple of items here. Me preocupo de. Here we are using this first part as preocuparse, and I'll type it in here. We are using this as a reflexivo. We are using this part as a reflexive. Habla de dos cosas. I want you to talk about two things that you feel worried about. So that means we need to use it with me, and I'm matching your verb because that's what reflexives do, right? Me preocupo de. I worry about, como, por ejemplo, me preocupo de manejar en 101. I worry about driving on the 101. Oh, por ejemplo, me preocupo de todas las facturas. I worry about all the bills I have to pay, right? Bien, I feel this way. So what? Talk about two things that you feel worried about. This is a feeling that wells up from deep within you, okay? And then I want you later to pick two things that are worrisome to you. These will not be reflexive,
Okay.
okay? This thing worries me, or these things, or these people. Maybe these people worry me. They're worrisome to me. They cause the worry in me. Okay, dos cosas. So you're going to be coming up with 4 examples each, right? Okay, por ejemplo, and here it's going to be a verb like gustar, un verbo como gustar, como gustar. Ay, qué terrible, como gustar. So here it's going to be something that is used like gustar. Me preocupa la salud de mi esposo. My husband's health is worrisome to me. It is troubling me. Okay, that would be an example. The health of this person is what is worrisome to me. Okay, bien. Okay, ¿entienden? ¿Hay alguna pregunta? Any kind of question before you go out to practice that? ¿Sí o no?
No.
No? No, no, okay, bien. Voy a dividirles. I'm going to divide you into a couple of groups. And we're going to see that you can, uy, 10, quizás. Vamos a ver. Uy, momentito. Move this up just a bit. Ok, vale, magnífico. Ok, practiquen por favor. 2 cosas, preocuparse. Y 2 cosas más, me preocupa. It worries me. Or me preocupan. They worry me. Bien? And I will send the page out to you as well. You should get a join button. And I will have to wait till everybody is in to do a share, I think. Excelente. Vamos a ver, vamos a ver. Aquí vienen todos. Here comes everybody. Muy bien. Fantástico. ¿Y cómo fue todo? How did everything go? Ah, aquí vienen todos. Magnífico, magnífico. Ok. Vale. Bueno, ¿quieren compartir? Do you want to share any ideas that you did in your breakout room?
Sure.
Sí, claro. Bien.
Oh,
Díganme, tell me something.
Okay, I said, me preocupo de la nueva variante del coronavirus.
Uy, sí, sí. Algo que está en las noticias muchísimo esta semana, something that's really in the news a lot. Bueno, buen ejemplo. Otro ejemplo.
But quick question, you could kind of make almost anything either way that you say it. You're afraid of that, or I feel afraid of that.
Yes, you can, and that is the difference. But people may explain it to you one way or the other. And okay, so the reason we're looking at these is that people will choose. You're right. They convey the same idea, don't they? But one is expressed as an I feel this way, whereas the other as this has an effect on
Me.
me. Ah, eso es. That is it. So how they choose to affect that or express that, you may be saying, oh, wow, why did they use that verb? Well, they chose to express it in a different way. So, okay. Vale, magnífico.
That was my issue as well. I felt like I worry about the new virus. The new virus worries me. So I felt like I was doing the same thing, Okay, so perfect. The way you just explained it. Thank you.
Sí, me preocupa mucho. It worries me a lot. Me preocupa mucho el nuevo virus. Bien, perfecto. Ok, otro ejemplo. ¿Otro ejemplo o no? ¿Nada? ¿Nada? Ok. Es todo. Wow. Ok. Vale. Ok. Bien. So what I want you to be aware of is that somebody may choose to express that idea of worry as one way or a different way. They are expressing the same idea, but using a different form to do it. Okay. Si no hay nada más, nada más. We'll move on to our video. And I've got a new video prepped for you guys for next week. Pero como un repaso, just as a little review, of course, we're not going to play the whole video, pero this was, oh, good and bad manners. ¿Cómo se dice manners? ¿Cómo se dice manners en español?
Manera.
Modales.
Modales. Se dice modales. They express that as modales. So there is a word manner, manera, but it's manner in the sense of a way. Por ejemplo, tengo, sí, él habla muy en voz alta, todo eso, habla de manera muy crudo. He talks in a really crude, loud way all the time. Okay, so, manera can mean a means, okay, but when we're talking about manner as in manners, the way somebody behaves, cómo se comporta. Cómo se comporta is how one behaves. Cómo se comporta. Y voy a escribirlo aquí en chat box. cómo se comporta, how one behaves. When we speak about manners in that sense, we shift and use a different word, not manera, but modales. Modales. Okay. And some of these were very kind of what you would expect, but some may have been a little bit surprising. Okay. Por ejemplo, tiene aquí la palabra malcriado. Malcriado es difícil de definir. It's a little hard to define in a way. Una persona que no tiene buenos modales. A person who doesn't have good manners. O que es grosero. Y grosero no es gross.
Rude.
Es rude. Grosero. Grosero es una palabra muy común e indica que alguien tiene muy malos modales, bad manners, ¿sí? Grosero, grosero, right? Groserías is often used as cuss words. Groserías would be curse words, but grosero would be used to describe somebody who behaves in a rude or obnoxious manner, ¿sí? Malcriado. Malcriado literalmente es badly raised.
Yeah.
Raised the wrong way. Okay.
Eso de criado. ¿No?
Yeah, malcriado. Criarse is to raise a child. Okay. So, hablar sobre modales. So did it help you all that you had some of these words to help you out a little bit? And the transcript?
Yeah.
Ayuda mucho. Does that help you before listening to the video? Probably you want to
Yes.
preview it before you listen to the videos, because we're going to do a different one next week. But all of these ideas here are phrases or ways of expressing ideas that indicate somebody behaves in a crude, unreasonable, rude, childish, poorly, undisciplined fashion, okay? Es de mala educación. No tiene que ver con la escuela. This has nothing to do with school. Even though it's got educación, right? Another way of saying malcriado, malcriado is mal educado. Mal educado. I'm going to see if I can fit that in here in nice, great big caps. Mal educado. The first time I ever heard that phrase, I thought, badly educated? No tiene que ver, no tiene que ver. It has nothing to do. No tiene que ver con la educación. Well, it does in the sense of how you were raised. So, mal educado means the same thing, more or less, más o menos, como malcriado. Okay, they're synonyms in a way, malcriado, maleducado. Ser de mala educación. Es de mala educación. It's bad manners. Es de mala educación comer con la boca abierta. Bien, sí, así es, sí. Ser mal educado, we've got mal educado, sí. El segundo ejemplo. Es mal educado comer con la boca abierta. It is rude
to eat with your mouth open.
It is in poor taste. It is in poor manners. See, to eat with your mouth open. Ser mal visto. Es mal visto comer con la boca abierta. Es mal visto. Literally, it's badly looked upon. Oh, we do sometimes say it's looked upon badly, right? Or, you know, we do kind of. See, ser mal visto, to be badly looked upon. Ser grosero. Es grosero comer con la boca abierta. It's rude to eat with your mouth open. Tener la mala costumbre de, to have the bad habit of. Costumbre es como custom, ¿sí? Y costumbre es una palabra femenina, entonces tener la mala costumbre de, to have a bad habit of, because you have a bad custom of doing something. Es un hábito. Hábito es habit, ¿sí? Tener el mal hábito, pero más común, es more common to express that as tener la mala costumbre, ¿sí? Ok. Bien, bien, bien. And then they also gave a little minor grammar thing of costar trabajo. And you saw this in the little verbs like gustar, right? Me cuesta, it costs me. Sometimes we lengthen this phrase out. And instead of saying me cuesta, which is perfectly okay, sí, está bien, está bien. Si alguien dice, ay, me cuesta trabajar en el jardín. It costs me to work in the garden. Well, it's hard for me to work in the garden. Me cuesta limpiar toda la casa. It's hard for me to clean the whole house. ¿Sí? Me cuesta calcular todo aquí. It's hard for me to calculate all of this. All right. Sometimes we lengthen it off into costar trabajo. And in that way, it's a little more exact than just me cuesta, right? Because now you've got the idea tagged on of trabajo. It costs me work. So this means the same thing as what you heard in the me cuesta from the video earlier, ¿sí? Así decimos que algo es difícil. So we say this for things that are difficult, ¿sí? Es difícil para nosotros o que necesitamos hacer mucho esfuerzo. Mucho esfuerzo, a lot of effort.
Thanks.
Bien, esfuerzo, ¿sí? Me cuesta trabajo usar el subjuntivo. It costs me work to use a subjunctive. Sí, claro, ay, sí, claro. You could just take that word trabajo out of there and say, me cuesta usar el subjuntivo. And it has the same meaning, but for you thinking in English, it might be easier to plug that word trabajo in, okay? It just gives a little more detail. A ella le cuesta trabajo hablar inglés. It costs her a lot of work. In other words, it's hard for her to speak English. ¿Sí? Nos cuesta trabajo levantarnos temprano. It's hard for us to get up early. Okay? Okay. Por ejemplo, let's see if you can come up with an idea of me cuesta or me cuesta trabajo. Either one, because both are workable. ¿Sí? Para mí, me cuesta, para mí, me cuesta limpiar detrás de 5 gatos, 5 mascotas en la casa. ¿Entienden, no?
Sí.
Me cuesta trabajo limpiar después de o detrás de 5 gatos, 5 mascotas en esta casa. Okay. Otra idea. Is there another idea we might use to say it's hard to do something? ¿Cómo se expresa? Something that's hard for you to do.
I don't know.
Me cuesta a ver el video de David y Ana.
Okay. Me cuesta ver o me cuesta mirar, me cuesta ver el video de David y Ana. Oh, it's hard for me to watch their video. Bueno, ¿qué más? Excelente. Me cuesta or me cuesta trabajo. Either way works.
Me cuesta vivir con Juanita todo el tiempo.
Sí. me cuesta vivir con mi esposo. Ah, yeah.
Sí, sí.
Okay.
No, I like that.
Todo el tiempo, sí.
Okay. Pero, entienden, ¿no? You get the idea, right? So again, a verb like gustar, these things pop up over and over again, just they'll pop up in odd ways. And we had all these lovely little expressions and all the vocabulary that
What made
we
it hard?
had. See? Is it a more, one thing I want to know from you guys, is it best for me to give you both the vocab list and the transcript, or just the transcript?
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
Los dos.
oh,
both, both,
Los dos. Okay, los dos.
both,
Okay.
both.
And the transcript is makes it a little bit easier to follow as they are talking. Okay. Bueno, okay. A ver. Pero hablaron de buenos modales. Ellos, David y Ana, hablaron de buenos modales en México. ¿Ok? Fíjense, notice guys, fíjense por favor. Lo que son buenos modales en Estados Unidos no es siempre igual a lo que son buenos modales en México, ¿verdad? ¿Sí?
Sí.
Exacto. Ok. Entonces, nos dijeron, they told us right off the bat, es de mala educación no ofrecer comida a otros.
Verdadero.
Sí.
Sí,
Es verdad.
es verdad. Sí, eso es verdad. Es verdad aquí en Estados Unidos también. ¿Es de mala educación no ofrecer comida aquí en Estados Unidos?
So.
Depende, pero todo el tiempo no. Aquí en Estados Unidos siempre diría no, diría que no. I would say not always here, no. Pero como con un invitado, sí, quizás, you know, if you've invited somebody in, quizás. Pero es algo muy específico en México. También en España, ¿sí? Cuando hay un invitado, when you have a guest, siempre, siempre le ofrece comida. Siempre. There are people who will literally leave their house if you come in first, if they have nothing at home. It is that strong an impulse. People will literally leave their house to run out and go grab something somewhere just to bring it back. Get aquí, wait here. People will literally go to that length. It is seen as really, really bad manners not to offer food. La costumbre de besar en las mejillas, ¿sí? Besar en las mejillas. La costumbre de sí, es de buenos modales, ¿sí? Besar en las mejillas. It's good manners to do what?
Kiss on the cheek.
Yeah.
Right. Y depende un poquito, ¿no? Depende un poquito. Entre los jóvenes, one of the things that I hope you picked up from when he was speaking, with young people, if people are in a crowd of 20 and 30 somethings, they literally think there's something weird about you if you don't do the on both cheeks when you greet somebody. The older you get, the more that steps back a little tiny bit with new people, right? If you are meeting somebody for the first time, you won't necessarily do them all the time, somebody you absolutely don't know. But young people, somebody they don't know at all, do religiously, and they'll think it's very standoffish. So this is one of those things that when people from many Latin cultures talk about people in the United States, they see us as being a little,
Standoff.
yeah, standoffish. And it's not so much that we're standoffish, it's just not our way, okay? So, you know, whereas as we get older, we may not greet somebody you've never met before that way. But young people absolutely will. And young people will take it as the, what's wrong with you? If you don't get the, okay, especially the younger they are. Es así, it is that way. Okay. Bien. ¿Y qué pasa con saludar? Saludar, decir hola, ¿sí? Siempre se saluda a cada persona. Do you greet everybody when you come in a room?
I think so. Sí.
Sí, es de buenos modales. Es de buenos modales. It is good manners to literally stand and acknowledge each person, not just hola and then move on. Okay. And again, that is something that we are kind of more accustomed to doing, you know, not really lingering, but you are expected to linger a bit. Bien. This other habit of mi casa, tu casa, mi casa, tu casa. Yeah. Did you notice that they talked about? Mi casa, tu casa, my house, your house. That is just a very, it is done, even if they might not literally mean it. It's, you know, it's always this reciprocal thing. It is seen as polite to say that my house is your house, mi casa, tu casa. All right, even if you don't know somebody super well. It is, so, you know, again, it's that whole thing of we kind of have a reputation in the Latin world of being a little more distant in our personalities. They are much more used to being in close contact with people and extending, you know, pretty much extreme hospitality in a lot of cases. Here is the other thing I want to kind of emphasize. Número 7, para los mexicanos es muy fácil decir no. We're supposed to say if this is true or false. ¿Verdadero o falso? Para los mexicanos, número 7, para los mexicanos es muy fácil. It's very easy decir no.
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 Also.
This is one thing that we as Americans tend to misinterpret. If someone tells you they're going to meet up with you, or let's say you're planning on getting together, even if really they know they may not, they'll probably still say, yeah, maybe. And we from our cultural viewpoint tend to view that as, well, you said you were going to come and then you didn't show. It is very, very difficult. People will hardly ever turn you down with one no. And when we tend to do that with people, oh, can you come to my house tomorrow? And we just, oh, no. That is kind of seen as a big faux pas in Latin culture, to just say no. Even though that's the honest to God truth. Okay. Even though like you have a really good reason, what people will do is they'll say, momento, no sé exactamente, no sé. Tengo que hablar con mi esposo. Tengo que hablar con mi esposa. I've got to talk with my significant other. Tengo que chequear un momento. I got to check it out. Sí, quizás, maybe. Even if they have absolutely no intention, people will very rarely say just no, flat out no. And a flat out no is kind of interpreted as being very, I'm brushing you off. So, you know, these are ways that culturally we don't always understand each other. Para que sepan, just so that you know, okay? Bien. También el hábito de regañar a los niños. They talk too about scolding kids. It is kind of more common to not necessarily slap up, because that's so crude, but you know, to discipline your kids in public is seen as, I'm showing my kid not to do the wrong thing. So even though sometimes we may view it as somewhat harsh, it is seen as the parent's job to control their children if they are behaving badly. So, you know, yeah. The other little thing that may help you as a tourist, however, es número 9. Sí, el número 9. Se dice provecho. Se dice provecho. ¿Qué es provecho? ¿Qué quiere decir provecho?
Enjoy your food.
Enjoy your food. No hay traducción, no hay buena traducción en inglés para provecho. Provecho o quizás buen provecho también, igual, buen provecho o provecho is like the bon appetit of
Yeah.
Spanish, yeah? Enjoy your meal, right? Enjoy your meal. And even when you're leaving, that what they had pointed out was that even when you're leaving a table in a restaurant, as you're passing people in the restaurant, it's seen as good manners to just nod to everybody on each side of you as you exit the restaurant, provecho, provecho. And people may only just look up and nod back at you, or they may say provecho back, but it is seen as good manners when you're leaving to just provecho, even though you don't know anybody in the restaurant. Provecho, 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 just quick down and dirty, and then on your way, okay? Common thing.
Is
And the
that
whole-
what number 9 means? Because
Sí,
I
sí,
always
sí.
thought you said it at the beginning of the meal.
You
as
do
well.
say it at the beginning, sí, que buen punto, what a good point. They do say it. So your waiter will say buen provecho to you as he slides the plates onto your table. Buen
Yeah.
provecho, or just provecho, either way, buen provecho, provecho. And yes, your waiter will deposit the food and say that. But as you leave to the other guests, that's seen as a courteous thing to do, because you've shared this common space. So you're wishing good eating to everybody, even though you don't know them on the way out. It's just seen as a very nice gesture, a very thoughtful gesture. Bien? Okay, ¿vale? Okay.
Pregunta.
Sí, sí, dime.
Did I understand it right when they were saying if you're having a party, if I'm having a party at my house this weekend and I'm telling you about it, I say, tengo una fiesta a tu casa.
That confused me.
Yeah, you heard that right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mi casa, tu casa is always like, yeah, well, we'll just all mix together. Oh, your turn next. Yeah, it's yeah, a ti te toca. People will say things like that. Oh, a ti te toca. Oh, your turn next. You'll take a turn at this next. Yeah, that's seen as and I think in American culture that might be seen as kind of pushy, but that's kind of what people do. You know, of course, if you're not living down there, that's not something that they will expect from your hotel room. But
Right.
yeah, but you know, it is a common thing to do. As a matter of fact, during the parties, the posadas, the parties that people do in the 8 days leading up to Christmas, where they do the little processions through the street dressed up as Mary and Joseph, and, you know, carrying the little baby and knocking on the door. You know, it's a reenactment of looking for lodging in Bethlehem. When they have the party each night, so it's a night of, well, 8 nights of parties, las posadas. When you divide up the little cake or the little breads that you eat, if you get the little baby Jesus in your bread, it's your turn to have, you know, the next party after the holidays. So sometimes that's how that's determined, who has the party after the holiday season. You know, if you get the special little figurine and your little piece of bread, special holiday bread, pan. Okay, bien. Was there anything else that was a little unusual? They did like this. Nunca vas a brillar en sociedad. You're never going to shine in society. That is kind of yeah. You're never going to look so good in the big bad world. Okay, that is kind of a phrase that parents often use. Pueden brillar en sociedad. Hay preguntas. Any other questions about what they said or what they talked about?
I have one.
Sí, sí, dime.
it's further down, but when they're talking about, it sounded to me like, I don't know if I'm interpreting it right, that if you asked if you should bring something, that's an insult, but you're expected to bring something. You're just not supposed to ask.
Oh, okay.
My interpretation.
Entiendo. I do understand. Sí, voy a buscar, sí.
I don't know where that is.
No, no es insulto. It's not an insult. It is rather, it's kind of a slap in the face if you don't offer. And that is one thing where we probably kind of share that, we kind of share that kind of a custom, actually. We're not too far off from them in that respect. ¿Dónde está? Uy, sí, no puedo encontrarlo. I do know what you're talking about. Yeah. Llevo algo. Should I bring something?
Yeah.
And notice we learned that verb. This is again that difference between llevar and traer. Traer means to bring, but it's used when you're at the destination where that food gift is supposed to end up. Yeah.
And I'm coming.
So if you're asking, yeah, if you haven't come yet to the party and you're asking the hostess, what can I bring? It's not que puedo traer because you're not at her house yet. You only use, te traigo once you've arrived at the house. When you ask, what can I bring? Que llevo? Que llevo? Que llevo? What am I bringing? Okay. And it is a very common thing when you're invited someplace, especially for a meal, to offer to bring something. Y si busco. I'm looking for exactly where that was in here. No lo puedo encontrar, perdón. I can't find it exactly, but it is down here somewhere where they do talk about that.
I don't have it printed, so I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I didn't want to ask you to print it because it's exceedingly long. And I'm very bad at speed reading. Aquí, está aquí, sí. Otra vez no es socialmente bien vista que es cuando te invitan a algún lugar, por ejemplo, y que no, you really should be asking, what can I bring? It is good to ask it. It is not absolutely expected, but it is buenos modales, good behavior to do that. See? Bueno, voy a llevar algo, right at the end of where I've got my cross thing here. See? Bueno, voy a llevar algo de mi parte. I'm going to bring something on my behalf. See? Para no llegar con las manos vacías, so as not to arrive with empty hands.
Yeah.
So that is actually seen as a good manners thing. Realmente no dependo de que mis amigos traigan algo, pero cuando me dicen que llevo, yeah, you know, I mean, it's still seen as a good thing to do, especially if you're trying to impress somebody. It is seen as good. I mean, even if it's just flowers, flores, you know, something simple. Bien. And the other thing is a little bit, es algo curioso. You know, the habit of saying goodbye multiple times is actually a thing. That's a real thing.
At least three.
People think it's kind of weird that we say, oh, adios, and then we're off. You know, it's usually, adios, nos vemos luego. Usually you really need to give about 3 goodbyes. 3 goodbyes is seen as about right. Yeah. A good idea. Okay. Buenas ideas. Okay. Bien. I'm going to give you a different one. This is actually one I had promised you the week before, but sadly, the transcripts were not yet ready at that time. what you're going to get will be another video of theirs, but you'll get the transcript along with it. You'll get the verb form. This is going to be a little quiz. Es una prueba. This is the relationship quiz that I promised you, but sadly, the transcript was not yet ready. So I decided to hold off on that. It is going to be a little game, and you're going to actually have a homework assignment to go out and ask either your significant other or your kids, if your kids live with you, or your best friend, no importa. It's not just a relationship quiz for spouses. So if you are spouseless, but you want to talk about your best friend, perfecto, perfecto, muy bien. They're going to have little questions, which are going to be questions of a relationship quiz. They're going to be, hay 10 preguntas, más o menos, 10, una docena, quizás 12, 10, 11, 12 preguntas, más o menos. But they're going to talk a little bit about this little, almost like a newlyweds game kind of thing between the two. But it's very, very cute. And if you listen to this, usually just listen. I am going to suggest, do watch their physical reactions when you listen to it, because it really, really helps. Ayuda mucho, ¿no? Y el video se llama, quiero prepararles. ¿Dónde está? Even though it's got a heart thing on it, don't think it has to be strictly a relationship thing, because a lot of these can be questions we would use to talk about friends, even our best friends, see, relationships. And a lot of these words you're going to get from context, I guarantee. See, 22 minutos is 22 minutes, but you'll get the vocab page and you'll get everything. The only question we're going to have on the list that I would not expect you to know, because I wouldn't have known it. Van a hablar, ellos, los dos, van a hablar de, bueno, ¿qué comimos el día que me propuse matrimonio? What did we eat the day that you proposed to me? Yo no tengo ni idea. I have no clue. So please skip that question. I mean, unless I don't remember what I was eating 30 years ago with that, but the story connected with that is very, very cute and very funny. So do come back. I want you to come back and share your ideas about your relationship quiz. So when you see those little questions, I want you to answer at least 8 of those questions, and they're going to be very fun and very cute, and nothing really hideously personal that will really embarrass people, unless you choose to have a funny, jokey time with it. Okay, ¿está bien? Bueno, y eso es todo. Vale, magnífico. Nos quedan, we have left. Nos quedan 2 clases más antes de las vacaciones de la Navidad, ¿sí? Is there any kind of burning grammar thing you want me to make sure I fit in the last 2 sessions? Quiero preguntarles.
I have a real simple little question.
Okay.
What is the license to hook on Isimo? So in other words, again, my question is, if it makes sense, can you throw on Isimo if you want it to be very,
Sí. What are the rules for doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. ¿En qué situación? Well, the situation is, instead of saying muy, which would be really boring. Yeah. Or even instead of saying muy, anytime you want to intensify, okay? Para intensificar, we can use this little suffix, which is isimo. And it might take a couple little turns, but usuallyissimo. And the little turns it's going to take are usually like spelling things, which when you're speaking, it doesn't really matter anyway. So issimo. But you know, if you're talking about a feminine thing, it might be issima. Or it might be plural, issimos. Or it might be feminine plural, issimas. Okay, so, okay, por ejemplo, si quieres indicar que algo cuesta un montón, cuesta demasiado, it costs too much, ¿sí? Cuesta, you don't want to just say cuesta mucho. You want to say, wow, this really costs a lot. Okay, we get rid of the o on mucho. Cuesta muchísimo. Cuesta muchísimo. Sería como decir, por ejemplo, it costs a whole lot. Or it really costs a lot. Okay, you're making an example of it. It's a ton, okay? But we can also tag this on to descriptions. Si quieres hablar de un jugador de básquetbol. ¿Bien? Un jugador de básquetbol.
Sí.
Okay. Y quieres hablar de LeBron James. LeBron James. LeBron James es un jugador de básquetbol altísimo. Es un jugador de básquetbol altísimo. Okay. Si tienes...
So it's looking like the last letter of the word that you're going to hook the isimo onto is dropped.
Okay. Exacto. You see some adorable little kids all dressed up in their Christmas finery. Mira, look. Mira, esas niñas preciosísimas. Mira esas niñas preciosísimas. Really, Italian has the same suffix, but they do double S's, whereas Spanish doesn't do double S's. Mira esas niñas preciosísimas. So normally it would be preciosas, right? Sí, exacto. We get rid of the as of preciosas. Oh, perdón, and I even, no, preciosísimas. Precioso. Yeah, preciosísimas. Bien, ese. Preciosísimas, ¿ok? Bien. Por ejemplo, otro ejemplo. Si quieres hablar de comida, si quieres hablar de la comida, sí. Esta comida, but now comida is feminine. Esta comida it tastes super, super yummy. You want to say this tastes really, really good. We're going to take the word rico and we're going to put an isimo or a tweaked form of isimo onto it. We're talking about comida. So rico becomes
Rica.
rica. Okay, normalmente está rica, but now we want to magnify rica. Esta comida está rica, está
Riquísimo.
riquísima.
Riquísimo.
Now, something is going to happen with the spelling.
Yes, I didn't know that.
But that doesn't matter when you're speaking, does it? It'll sound the same. Yeah. So literally you're taking the rica word, because it's comida, rica. You're getting rid of the a at the end. Riquísima. Riquísima. So, okay, if you were to spell it, that key would have to get spelled this way. But it doesn't matter when you're talking. That's a spelling thing. Yeah. Rica, riquísima. Okay. You want to talk about, esos perros. Esos perros son feos. Those are just ugly dogs. They're really ugly dogs. Esos perros son
Feísimos.
feísimos. Feísimos. Son feísimos. Muy común. You know, somebody looks at a traffic jam. Uy, qué feísimo. That is ugly. Meaning it's a nasty situation. Feísimo. Es feísimo. Pero aquí, como perros es una palabra plural, ¿sí? Esos perros son feísimos. Those are really ugly dogs. Super ugly. It is called a superlative because you're taking whatever that quality is and bumping it up to the highest notch possible by doing an ísimo, or a feminine form, ísima, or a plural form if you need it, ísimos, ísimas. Bien? Okay? Bien?
Yes, gracias.
De nada, de nada. Okay. Excelente, excelente. Bueno, algo más. Anything else that you want me to absolutely make sure that I cover for the group in the next week or two, or is it like free reign for me?
Free reign.
Yeah.
Free reign,
right.
okay. Free reign. Okay, I want to take most of next session just getting your reactions and your little answers for the relationship questions that they have in the video, because they're very fun to do. And that with a decent number of people and a lot of people back from vacation is going to take quite a while. That's going to take us most of the hour. Para ser realístico, to be realistic, it will take about that long. Okay, está bien? So it is going to require that you do some homework and that you think about those little questions that they've got as they go along, and think about, you know, what you would say about your significant other or your best friend or your kids or whomever. ¿Sí? ¿Bien?
Sí.
¿Todo bien? Ok, magnífico. Entonces, voy a parar la grabación.